Malik writes, what's a movie that critics got wrong when it first came out and later were kicking themselves? Fight Club comes to my mind.
I don't think the critics hated Fight Club.
No.
I remember really good positive word of mouth when Fight Club first came out. Me personally, can you guys think of any?
I can think of several. I remember like Blade Runner, when that first came out, all the critics hated it, and now it's like considered a cult classic, one of the best science fiction films ever made. I mean, that's one of them.
Not by me,
well,
but yeah.
Except for Campino.
By most intelligent people in the world, yes.
The Thing is another one that got horrible reviews. It was just, all it is, it's about gore and latex. Now it's considered one of the iconic horror films of our time. So.
Some Jason Reitman films come to mind because, you know, Up in the Air and Juno are regarded as his most critically acclaimed work, and, you know, a lot of people didn't like Young Adult, and some people really liked it and thought it was really deep and emotional, and that Charlize Theron was phenomenal in it. And I think that one was not slammed, but a lot of people didn't really get behind, and then I feel like more time went by, they're like, wow, I can see what he was trying to do there. Same with Labor Day, but that didn't really go in the other direction. I feel like that was still, exactly, but Young Adult comes to mind. I feel like upon sitting with that film a little bit, because it's not as whimsical as some of his other films, that people were a little kinder than initially.
All right, what's next?
Adam H. writes, what's your top big budget film with the worst special effects?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question.
Some hard ones today.
I can't.
Oh, you know what? Men in Black, I think it was like, I didn't even watch the rest of Men in Black 3, but I remember watching Men in Black 3 and I thought the effects were horrible.
Which one? What happens
Men in Black 3, there was, like I said, I didn't watch the ending.
Is that the one with Josh Brolin?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there were sequences where, I remember Will Smith on like some kind of a light cycle, like rotating circle thing, where they're whizzing around and there's no blowing, nothing. There's like you've been shot in a green screen room with no fan, and no one cared to like add like a flap of a, you know, his coat's not moving, and they were like flying around.
What makes me laugh about questions like these sometimes is that, and it's a great question, but sometimes I'll have people talk to me, it's like, you know, I watched Star Wars and the effects aren't even all that great. You remember when Star Wars was shot. Like that, at the time, those effects were way beyond anything anybody had ever done. Every penny was in that thing. But it's a great question. I'd have to think about it and research it a little bit. Big budget films with the worst special effects is really good. Can you think of anything off the top of your head?
I can think of things, again, more cemented in the past where it's like, hey, they were still above their, like Neverending Story, one of my favorite of that.
Yeah.
And there's some scenes that are funny because they're just
sure,
they're
but
bad.
it was state of
but
the art
again,
at the time.
of the time, they were amazing. So it would be more of a task to think about things more recent.
I remember the Scorpion King was another one where the ending was like the Scorpion didn't even have its finished texture map. It was like one of those things, like if you're a nerd and you don't know what I'm talking about, it's like they didn't have time to finish rendering it, and anyone who was
remember how bad The Rock's face looked on it and everything, and even for the time that was badly
that's what I'm saying.
done.
For the time, you're like releasing some unfinished effects.
Yeah, that's a great one. All right, what's next?
Well, speaking of Neverending Story, Brian Norris writes, what's happening with the development of the Neverending Story reboot?
There was some word about it, I remember, floating around last year, but I think it's dead in the water, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I'm open to hearing more, but I don't think, I've heard nothing about any progress on it whatsoever. But that's just me. Have you guys heard anything different?
Falcor will attack you if you make a reboot. Do not do that. I mean, as we were just talking about, the effects work for that film, so I don't want to see this. I haven't heard anything about it, and I'm happy about that.
I have a friend whose dog looks like Falcor, and whenever I see the dog, I go, the never-ending story, and then the dog like turns its head.
So good.
Yeah, the dog just kind of looks, and I imagine it flying, I'm petting it, like, then, you know, just, that'd be awesome.
All right, what's next?
Terrence Page writes, what actor/actress under 30 has the talent to be the next Streep or De Niro? For me, it's Dane DeHaan and Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick is really funny because I realize she's really, really good, and I think, like with most other people, when Up in the Air came out and she got her Academy Award nomination, that you just realize she's just not just good, like she's ridiculously good and talented, and she's diverse. She can do a film like Up in the Air, and then she can be like a side character in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and fit in everything. Then she can do a lead musical movie, like she does, what's the name of the...
Pitch Perfect, baby.
Pitch Perfect, which she was actually really good in.
Yes.
I'm actually really shocked, because I was sitting in I can't remember which movie I was watching the other day, but a trailer for Into the Woods came up, and Anna Kendrick's in the trailer, right? And I remember thinking, how has this girl not hit A-level status yet, because I think she's shown she's got talent. She's beautiful. She's made pretty good decisions. She's not been in a lot of, or almost any, we're like, why did you go in that movie? Like some really creative, diverse things. I'm a little bit flabbergasted how she's not in more. But any other names come to you guys?
Yeah, Dane DeHaan. Whew, everything he touches, he's great. Ezra Miller from Perks of Being a Wallflower. We need to talk about Kevin. I think he is going to be the next generation of exactly what you're talking about. Everything he touches is so different from the next, and he completely commands the screen. I mean, he played this very eccentric, you know, flamboyant character, and then a total terrifying character in the next one, and like everything he does is amazing to me. So he's definitely on my young stars to watch, and everything DeHaan touches is gold. Kendrick too.
Oscar Isaac is the guy. The guy is like he's
Is he under 30?
You know what? I think he is.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. I mean,
I love
maybe
him.
he just skews young. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. You know.
Yeah.
Going back to Perks of Being a Wallflower, a guy like, well, I mean, obviously, first of all, you got Emma
Logan
Watson.
Lerman.
But Emma Watson, obviously Emma Watson's got the goods.
She's already there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's pretty much almost already there, right? She will be somebody who, 10 years from now, if there's not an Oscar on her mantle, there will be 3 or 4 nominations on her resume. I firmly believe that. But the name I was going to bring up is exactly this, Logan Lerman. I think this guy's got a load of talent, and he's in Fury, is he not? But he's too young right now to get a lot of the big meaty roles. Wait till this guy starts to get older, because he's only going to get better, and he's going to start to get into that age range where he can start to take on these other types of roles. I think he's going to be one of those Matt Damon, Brad Pitt names that is going to be with us for 2 decades. I really do. I think he's that good. All right, let's take time for one more.
All right, Eisenberg Lannister writes, do you think we will ever revisit Sin City?
Nope. No. I mean, look, what's always possible is a return via direct-to-home video or something like that. You know, a little $3-4 million Sin City 3 that goes to direct-to-home video. But they took such a bath. They took such a bath on this movie. There's no way a studio is actually going to finance a theatrical release film for it again. I just can't see it happening. Can you guys see any hope?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, I loved the middle section of the Sin City Dame to Kill For, which was just the Dame to Kill For. And the other 2 sections I really didn't like. They didn't fit in too well. It should have just been one movie. I know that Rodriguez, like he did with the first film, hopefully he'll release a 3-part, you know, like each of those segments extended. Well, I would love to own that, but I don't know. I mean, there was something off about this version of it that was different than the first one.
Yeah, I agree. Great name, Lannister. But yeah, I loved the first film. Amazing. This one, it was visually gorgeous. It raised the bar even more for that. But it was style over substance for me. It was disappointing, especially because I've been waiting forever for that film. So
9 years.
They took a hit, and I don't think we'll see another as well.
All right, and I think Oscar Isaac's actually 34.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.